right, what is up, guys? Will Mason here at the Demo Lab, bringing you yet another demo of another Reverend guitar. This is the brand new in 2020 Reverend Roundhouse, and this is their first foray into a carved top on a solid body guitar. And so as we talk about this, just make sure you look at it and take it in, because this thing is beautiful. This is particular model that we're holding today is in violin brown, and it's got this flame maple top carved and added to the Carina body, or Carina wood body. So we're gonna walk through some of the features of this guitar that are common to all Reverends, and then I'm gonna shut up and play through some different sounds on the amp and let you decide what you think for yourself. So be sure to hit subscribe before we get any further, so you can be sure to get the latest videos from the Demo Lab. We're putting out new content all the time, and of course you can drop us a comment down below and let us know what you think. If you have a Reverend guitar, if you want a Reverend guitar, or if you want recommendations, our online community is there for you, so let us know. All right, so first of all, I always like to start out by pointing some of the great value features that Reverend packs into their instruments. These are things that you would not normally see on guitars at this price point, and it just goes to show you that Reverend really understands the needs of professional musicians. So they're not going to put frills and bells and whistles on this that you don't need, but they're going to put stuff in here that you didn't think that you would get at this price point. So to begin with, in that very same category, we have these pin locking tuners that make changing your strings super easy. So when you're on the road and you're changing strings regularly, or as regularly as we do, it's super easy to do that and makes it quick. Of course, we've got this Reverend headstock, which is gorgeous, and as we travel down the neck, it's a Pile Faro fingerboard, super comfortable to play, and these frets are jumbo and they feel great under your fingers. So it is a gloss neck, and that is kind of a point of contention for some guitarists out there. You either love it or you hate it. This one feels great to me personally, but I also have played a Les Paul for many years, and so it doesn't bother me at all. And it looks just really sleek, especially when you look at the back and you see this glue joint and how the neck is set in there, and it just flows into the body, and it looks awesome. Then, looking back at the front, as we come down, we have a stop tail piece with a tune-o-matic bridge. Makes this thing stays in tune really, really well. You know, we've demoed a lot of different Reverends, and I'm consistently impressed with that, and especially on these tune-o-matic bridges. Once you get them in tune, they really stay there, unless there's new strings. Then, of course, we have our volume tone, and this is a Reverend feature. This is the bass contour knob, which is a passive bass roll-off, and we'll get into that a little bit more when we're playing through the amp, so you can kind of hear what that does. But for now, just think about it as kind of the opposite of tone. So you've got your tone, which affects the treble, and you've got your bass contour knob, which affects, obviously, the bass. In this volume, there is a tone bleed circuit built in, so as you are rolling off the volume, if you want to get a quieter tone, you're not going to lose the brightness and the fullness of that tone. And so there's some stuff under the hood that you can't see that Reverend does, and if you read through the spec sheet, you really start to get this picture of the value of the instrument. Things like the quality of the potentiometers and the capacitors that they use, and even the input jack, are just higher quality components than you typically get out of the gate. Let's see, what else have I not yapped about? Okay, there's the two pickups that we have in here are the Alnico humbuckers that you've seen in some of our other videos. They sound great. This thing is a rock and roll machine, and so you will not be surprised when we get into some of the dirtier tones, the beefy nature of this Roundhouse. As far as the name goes, I'm not sure exactly where that came from, but it makes me think of Chuck Norris, so I'm a big fan of that already. And you know what? That is about it as far as me talking. So I'm gonna switch over to the clean side of this amp and give you some idea of what this guitar sounds like. Now today we're gonna be using the orange Rocker 32, and this is an awesome amp. We've done a full, very in-depth demo on in the past, and so you'll have to go check out that video after you're done watching this one. But it has a ton of features, stereo and all that sort of thing. Today we're just mainly using it to demonstrate the guitar. So we'll be on clean setting and then on an overdrive setting, and we'll kind of take it through its paces. So get back to clean, let me get back in standard tuning. And we're gonna start off on the neck pickup and just play through some clean picking and strumming so you can hear what the guitar sounds like. So I'm going to pull the bass out with using this bass contour knob and play the exact same thing so you can hear the difference back to back. And here's what that sounds like. So the bass in, bass out. So without even changing pickups, you're getting an entirely, like a huge spectrum of flavors just out of one pickup on one guitar. Makes it very, very useful. And I'll say, like when I was playing around with this earlier, the clean setting definitely accentuates those differences a little bit more. Once you get the dirt on there, kind of covers up what that bass roll-off knob is doing. So I wanted to make sure to show you this. And really it pulls out some of that low content and it leaves behind, it definitely does suck the volume down just a touch. So it affects the output of your guitar. But it leaves a really interesting like mid-range and upper frequency thing going on. So it's almost like a single coil tap sort of thing going on, but it's not, it's still a humbucker. Especially for like strumming, if you're ever strumming on this guitar on a clean sound, which is probably not what my instinct would lead me to do. But if you are doing that, it's a really useful feature to have. So one more time, here we go. And of course, I'm rolling it all the way out and all the way in just to make sure that you can hear the difference, but it is a knob, and so you have 0 to 100 and anywhere in between, so you can really dial in your tone the way that you like it in your amp at home. Okay, I'm gonna switch now to the middle selection position on the pickup switch, and that's gonna be on both of these pickups now. I'll let you hear what that sounds like. And then we'll go all the way down to the bridge position. You start to hear a lot more of that upper mid-range honk coming in with this pickup. So a little bit of sparkle to it, definitely more honk and snarl, and especially when we get into the dirty side, you'll hear that kind of come out in the grit on the distortion of the amp. Now it's funny, somebody commented recently on one of our other videos, thank you for playing some basic stuff, because there's so many people who get out there and just try to shred on YouTube demos. And I took that as a compliment, even though I know that I'm just not a shredder, and that's why I do this. But I hope that the stuff I'm playing is actually helpful to translating for you at home, because I know a lot of people are on here just to kind of get an idea of what that guitar sounds like, and maybe you're just an average player like me, and so this is helpful for you to hear what it's going to sound like when you get the guitar in your own hands. So anyway, we're going to switch over to the overdrive side of the amp and get into a little bit of crunch, and we'll go back to the rhythm pickup. So you can tell definitely really thick and beefy, a lot of like low mids in there, definitely fills up the sound. So we'll switch to the middle position, play the same thing. And then all the way down to the bridge. And to me, I love that position on that pickup. Just sounds so good. It's got a lot of that kind of grit and snarl and growl to it. all the funny words that we use to describe sounds. So let's crank up the gain just a little bit. This amp has tons of gain, so we're gonna just kind of inch it up a little bit and get into some more higher territory here. Let's see what the guitar sounds like there. And one of the things you can't get through this video is how much fun this guitar is to play. It feels awesome. So if you ever get a chance to get your hands on one, you have to do it. Whoa. It's definitely really responsive to touch. It cleans up nicely as you sort of dig in. It gets a little bit more of that grit going on for sure. Definitely sounds great with just some power chord riffs going on, and you can't beat Green Day for power chord driven riffs. So there you have that. And let's dime it out and see what it sounds like just all the way in full on crazy territory. So you can tell even with the amp, like crazy amounts of gain, I literally have it turned all the way up on the gain knob, you still get some articulation, and so you're able to sort of distinguish between the notes even in a full chord, which I love the way that they voice these pickups, and Joe Naylor does a fantastic job at all of that. He is a mad scientist, genius of a man, and of course the designer of Reverend. So that is it for the Roundhouse today. A huge fan of this guitar. I think it's got an awesome look to it. It's a single cutaway, but it's a little bit different. Doesn't look like anything else exactly. It's definitely not a copy of anything you've seen before. Super comfortable to play, sounds awesome in the room, and I hope that you're listening on headphones, by the way, because we are, miking this thing up and running it into Pro Tools so we can bring you the best quality sound possible. But nothing will ever substitute getting in the store and getting your hands on the instrument. So if you're in the Birmingham area, you've got to stop by one of our locations because we keep a great stock of Reverends in. And in fact, I think we're the only dealer at this time anyway in Birmingham, and definitely have the largest selection in the state. And so you have to come in and check these things out. If you are not in Birmingham, we do ship anywhere in the contiguous United States of the Americas, and that is for free on our online store. And so you can click the link in the description below to check out this very guitar and our other Reverends that we currently have in stock. Remember, subscribe, like, comment, share, do all the things to be a good YouTube citizen, and we will see you next time on the Demo Lab. Until then, rock on.